Folks, welcome back to another edition of the Play Action Pod. I'm your host, Christian McCullum, and with the NBA Finals starting this week, we have a special guest, Terrell Furman Jr., host of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Terrell, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm ready to talk some hoops.
Yeah, let's go. So, obviously at Play Action, we got a lot of stuff going for the NBA Finals, and Sports Gambling Podcast Network is running a free contest through Play Action on the NBA Finals. It's simple. 15 prop questions. You answer them. Whoever gets the most right wins $500. And to join, just go to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, download their app, and it's in the contest section, and we'll put all that stuff in the description below. But Terrell, let's just run them down and try to give the listeners and the viewers some guidance.
Well, I don't know how much guidance I want to give. I don't want everybody to compete with me for the $500 because I got the winners right here. They know I got the winners right here. So, we'll see. We'll see if somebody. They better hope they get the tiebreaker over me.
Okay, the tiebreaker. People forget about the tiebreaker. That is key. That comes down to it all the time. Whenever you're doing contests, people are like, "Oh, I forgot the tiebreaker." You're out then, man. You're out.
Yeah. Good luck, because because it's about to be a bunch of people that tell these picks right here. I'm trying to tell you.
All right, let's run it down. First of all, will the winner of Game 1, Thursday's Game 1, will the winner of that game win the series?
Yes, the winner will win the series because I think the Golden State Warriors are going to win Game 1 and ultimately win the series. The Boston Celtics they got a little bit of rest going into the NBA Finals, but this Warriors team has had plenty of time off. You give them time off and time to prepare. I like what Steve Kerr is doing. Give me the Warriors to win Game 1 and the Finals.
This is a question where people can try to get a little too cute. I mean, you just think about whoever wins Game 1. If it's the Warriors, we will obviously favor.
Now you're up 3. You only need 3 more wins. The other team
exactly.
It's super easy. I'm taking the team on home court.
Okay. Will any game go to overtime?
No game will go to overtime. Everybody wants a game to go to the overtime in the NBA Finals, but think about what these playoffs have been thus far. It's been very lackluster. A lot of blowouts, not a lot of close games. I'm not picking this NBA Finals. It's not too often. I think the last one was like 2018 with the Warriors and the Cavs, something like that. I'm not picking for one of these games to go to overtime. I think a couple of games will be blowouts. The Celtics have trouble closing out games. I'm just not going to bet on it to go to overtime.
Yeah, another one that's kind of a little cute if you're going to say yes. But, you talked about blowouts. Will any of these games be decided by 20 or more points?
Absolutely. It could very well be this first game. It could really be the first game. And so I think that there will be a blowout. Golden State, if you think about Golden State and how they perform in closeout games for these playoffs, they really haven't cared. They've been playing with house money, and they sat there and just let the other team run the score up on them and not really care. So that could be an angle for a blowout. This Boston team could just shoot the ball poorly. If they shoot the ball poorly, they're getting run out the gym. So, yeah, give me one game to get blown open by 20, 25 points.
Yeah, Boston, they rely so much on their defense. You can have just a poor defensive game coupled with a average Warriors shooting game, and you can easily get to that 20 points. All right, now we get to an individual matchup. Most points totals in the series, Jayson Tatum versus Steph Curry.
I'm going to take Jayson Tatum here. He's averaging 26.5 against them in the 2 games they played this season. And Steph has so many options, and we've always known Steph to kind of play with his food a little bit when it comes to the NBA Finals, to get other players going, to utilize everybody else on that staff. I'm not going to think of this too much different. Does Steph have some big games? Yes, but I think Jayson Tatum has some big games as well. I'm going to go with overall consistency, and I think the consistency is in Jayson Tatum's hands more than Steph.
Okay, how about this one? Will Jayson Tatum drop 40 in a single game this Finals?
This is tough because this is like picking a prop, like a plus 600 prop for over the course of the Finals, because that's what it's going to be damn near every game. I'm going to say yes because Jayson Tatum has shown over the course of these playoffs that he will respond to a bad game with a good game, and his good game can very well be to the tune of 40-something points, especially if this team goes down 2-0-2 at Golden State. When they come back to Boston, I think he's going to be on fire and ready to lock and load. So, yeah, give me Jayson Tatum to get one game over 40.
How about Steph Curry? Will he have one game where he hits at least 7 3-pointers?
This, I struggled because it seems so easy for him. It seemed like 7 threes for Steph. It seems really easy, but it's tough. And he's going to have Marcus Smart on him for the duration of this series, who plays some of the best basketball against Steph Curry. I'm going to hope that maybe if this doesn't cash in game 1, I'll be nervous. I'm not going to lie. I want to see Steph come out on fire. I want him to try to silence the critics, say, I can get this done in the NBA Finals. And hopefully he goes crazy in game 1 and cashes this game 1. But if he doesn't, then I'll be a little bit nervous. But I'm going with Steph. Yes, Steph will have a game of 7 or more three-pointers.
Okay. Jaylen Brown, 23.5 points per game average throughout the series, over, under.
All right, so Jaylen Brown is going to have an issue. And the issue is if Gary Payton II comes back, that's more than likely going to be his primary defender. And if you saw what Victor Oladipo did against him in that last series, while he was scoring the basketball, he was turning it over a bunch. He was turning the ball over a lot. And I think Gary Payton Jr. can play better defense than Jalen saw that last series. He's been under this for the first 2 series of the playoffs and only hit this over in that series against the Heat. I think the defense for the Golden State Warriors is a lot better than what the Miami Heat were playing with that last series. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under. I think that this is just shy. He probably comes in at about 21.
I've got a 4-year-old who's pretty athletic. She can dribble the ball, right? I told my buddies the other night, I have more faith in my 4-year-old daughter bouncing the ball 10 consecutive times than I do Jaylen Brown bouncing it 3 consecutive times.
He was really, really bad that last series. He was turning the ball over a lot.
All right, Clay, over-under points per game, 20.5.
Okay, this one's a little bit absurd to me because Clay has not been consistent at all in these playoffs. You get Game 6 Clay. You've had big games Clay. You had Clay where he was scoring when Steph was coming off the bench, but he hasn't consistently been over this number. I'm taking Clay under. I don't think he gets to 20. He probably finishes somewhere around 19. He has some very good games in the playoffs, but overall the consistency is just not there for Clay yet, which is to be expected. He just came off 2 major injuries.
And now we get into some points, rebound, assists, combined numbers here. We got Marcus Smart. You mentioned him earlier, 25.5, over, under.
Yeah, I'll take the over on Marcus Smart. I think he's going to be one of the most important pieces in this series for Boston, especially if Jaylen Brown doesn't get going like I don't think he will, because Marcus Smart is going to be the person that's handling the ball up the court. He's going to be trying to establish offense. They can't just go out there and play this playground-style offense against the Golden State Warriors. They're going to have to run plays. They're going to have to run sets, and they're going to have to find ways to score the basketball. I think Marcus Smart is going to be in there. He's dominant around the rebounding for a guard, and his turnovers is going to create offense, and I think that's going to help him. I think this is going to be his highest points total when he probably gets Steph Curry as his primary defender, more than likely. So I think this will be his highest points total in the playoffs. Give me the over on his 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
All right, flipping over to Golden State. Jordan Poole, 26.5 points, rebounds, assists, over, under.
I'm going to under on Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole is a defensive liability, and I will not be surprised if Jordan Poole does not get much time in this series. Now, much time is very, very relative. Not saying he's not going to play at all, but is his minutes going to decrease a little bit with Gary Payton II coming back? Of course they are. Of course Gary Payton II is going to get some run in there. And Jordan Poole, while he can score the basketball, he's going to be a little bit of a liability on the defensive end. And if Boston plays all 5 starters the entire time, like I think they will, then they're not going to want Jordan Poole out there too much. So give me the under on Jordan Poole. I think that he's not going to be able to get in rhythm in this series, and he's going to just come under. He's been under this for every series that Steph has started. So the past 2 series where Steph has started, he's been under this points, rebounds, and assists total. The only one he went over was when he was starting in place of Steph in that Nuggets series.
All right, that makes sense. Flipping back to Boston, we got Al Horford, 25.5 points, rebounds, assists, over, under.
Old man Horford, I'm so glad you got here because you about had me in tears when you dropped to the floor at the end of that game. Old man Horford and Marcus Smart are probably going to be the 2 most important pieces in this series. Like, we already know what Jaylen Brown can do. We already know what Jayson Tatum can do. But the size that Horford has over them with an injured Robert Williams, who Ime Udoka said in his speech to the locker room that Rob was playing injured the entire series. That injury is not just going away overnight. There's probably going to be a game or 2 that Robert Williams does not play in this series because he had a setback with that injury, and Al Horford has shown us that he can get it done. I like this season this series total of 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. 'Cause I think he's going to be dominant on the rebounding end. And old man Horford's going to go out there and give a couple buckets to Kevon Looney out there. So, yeah, give me old man Horford over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists for the series.
Where did this rejuvenation for Horford come from? I mean, it just seemed like,
Boston was always the spot for him. He always wanted to be here. Like, he didn't want to leave when he first left Boston. The only reason he left is because they weren't going to pay him. and old man Horford was like, hold on now. I love it here, but I got to go get that check. And Philly offered that check. Because you see, nobody else offered it. Philly offered that check. Of course, how you going to turn that down? He really didn't want to leave in the first place. So when he got the chance to come back, of course, he's going to be like, yeah, let me go hoop. I love this place. I love this team. I love this city. I love this culture. But Philly had that check. He couldn't turn it. Hey, protect your chickens. Protect your paper. We're going to talk about it.
So one more points, rebounds, assist, over under, Draymond Green. How do you see this one coming out? Over under 22.5.
Okay, so I don't think Draymond's total should be under Al Horford's, though. I know Draymond is a little liability scoring the basketball, but I think this offense still runs through him. He's still going to have the ball in his hands a lot of opportunities for assists. He's going to challenge them on the defensive end. I think the only issue here that would probably send this under is if he is actually Jayson Tatum's primary defender, because Jayson Tatum probably going to play a little bit further away from the basket. He's going to be more concerned about getting stops on Jayson Tatum than defensive rebounding. So that's a little bit of concern. But I think that Andrew Wiggins is going to pick up that task. He did pretty well with Luka Doncic last series. So hopefully they put him on Jayson Tatum, because then that'll give Draymond a lot more chances under the rim. I'm going to go for it. Give me the over, 22.5, Draymond Green, points, rebounds, and assists.
All right, now we're getting into the ultimate. You kind of talked about how you see the series playing out, but how about length? How many games you see this series going? 4, 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah, give me 6. Give me Clay game 6, and he's gonna send the Boston Celtics home in Boston. Everybody always talks about ending this on their home floor, blah blah blah. I think that this is a 3-1 lead after Game 4. And while the Golden State Warriors are gonna have the opportunity to end this up on their home floor, we've seen them play with their food, not be able to get it done in that first elimination game, and then they come back after that and go ahead and knock it out. I don't think that they're pressed to get this knocked out on their home floor. They know that it's a big parade, a big party coming back to them. I have the Golden State Warriors 3-1 lead, losing on their home floor in Golden State, and then coming back and winning in Boston.
Okay, and who do you have for MVP? We have 3 options: Steph Curry, Jayson Tatum, which would be unlikely considering what you just said, or other.
Man, it's so hard for me not to take the other here, because they never want to give this award to Steph. They'll give it to anybody other than Steph. I was just telling somebody the other day that Andre Iguodala, I seen odds online. Andre Iguodala is minus 125 to win MVP for the finals. So,
what?
No, I'm just joking. But yeah, all right, I give it to Steph here. I think that this is the cement on. I mean, his legacy is already cemented. He doesn't need an NBA Finals MVP to cement his legacy. But the talk is out there, and the media is out there. If they win, it's going to be hard pressed on them not to give this to Steph. So I think it's going to go ahead and go to Steph. I'll put Steph Curry.
All right. So we will not make you expose your tiebreaker points, but just so everyone knows what they are, it's going to be total points for the winning team in the clinching game, which for you would be total points for the Golden State Warriors in Game 6. Mm-hmm. We'll let you keep that one to the vest, Terrell, in order to get a chance at winning. But again, Sports Gambling Podcast Network, download the app, hit the contest button, and that'll bring you into it. It's free to play, $500 to the winner. Terrell thinks he's got the winning picks. We'll see how you can do. And again, Terrell, tell everyone where they can find you.
At @realreal__ on Twitter. I'm the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, also host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Hey, look, NBA Hoops you got about 2 weeks left. I'm trying to tell you, you got 2 weeks left of NBA Hoops. Tap into the WNBA Gambling Podcast, because guess what? Hoops never stops. Also co-host of the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast, so tap into that. We're getting some content out there, ramping up for training camp, ramping up for preseason, and the fantasy season coming up. Other than that, I got nothing else.
Well, Terrell, you mentioned the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Do WNBA bets, do they pay the same as NBA bets?
Oh, they definitely pay the same. If anything, they pay better because I'm on a heater and absolutely killing it. Make sure you get over to the WNBA. You're getting paid. You're getting the same odds, same money, and I'm giving you free winners. The books have not caught up to me yet.
There's money to be made over there, so check out Terrell and NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast. We really appreciate it, man. Good luck and enjoy.